December 5th, 2024 meet up. Now it says it's set to YouTube. So we're going to start again. Good evening. This is the December 5th, 2024 meeting of the Economic and Community Development Committee. For the council with us tonight are committee members Josh Goldstein, Jim Freyer, Barbara Smith, Jalen Seed, Darlene Young, Heather Dunn, and I see council members Nicole Eady and Ann Wennerstrander in attendance as well. Is there anyone here for public participation?
There are no attendees currently.
Okay. Then we will close public participation. And then acceptance of the minutes from November 7th, 2024. Do I have a motion? Jalen? Does anyone have any corrections, any issues with the minutes? The only thing I saw under on page 2, it seems to there's an incorrect spelling for Barbara Smith's name. You can just lop off the E at the end, and Travers, same thing. But besides those changes, or any other issues with the minutes? All right, well then, all in favor? Okay, so we've accepted the minutes. Okay. New business.
I'm abstaining,
Oops.
by the way. I wasn't at the meeting. Sorry.
Oh, you know what? I'm moving too quickly. I should have asked. I'm sorry, Heather. All right, okay. So Heather abstained for the vote on the minutes. Just make that note for the record. Sorry about that, Heather. Okay, so now we are moving on to new business. Transportation, mobility, parking. Item 1, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute Amendment 1 to the agreement between the City of Norwalk and Stantec Consulting Services, Inc. For project closeout services for Norwalk River Valley Trail Phase 2 State Project 102-350 for lump sum fee of $40,000. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Dunn. Ben, floor is yours.
Good evening, Chairman Goldstein, council members. So the phase 2 of the Norwalk River Valley Trail project, we wrapped up construction early this year. And it completed a section of the NRVT all the way from Union Park up to New Canaan Avenue. We had a nice ribbon cutting on the bridge near New Canaan Avenue there. However, we noticed after many people were using it over the summer that I'm sorry, I'm thinking about something else. For project closeout, we need to maximize state reimbursement on this project. We need to get some assistance because of the very complicated and precise manner which the state requires this reimbursement documentation to be submitted in. So we've contracted Stantec, and they've already begun on this process. So this first amendment is just to get them to the finish line. They've assured us that this is what they need to complete the process of organizing the documentation, submitting it to DOT, and getting us the maximum reimbursement on this project, which we expect on the order of about $2.5 million.
Does anyone have any questions? Okay, pretty quiet. With that in mind, all in favor? Okay, that item passes unanimously.
Thank you.
I saw you, Darlene. Okay, item 2. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into any and all documents and agreements required by the United States Department of Transportation to accept grant funding under the Safe Streets for All FY24 grant program, federal award number as noted. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Young. Ben?
All right, thank you again. So the Safe Streets for All grant is a $500,000 grant that has been awarded to the city by the FHWA for the development of a citywide safety action plan. So we're very excited to get this because it'll give us the chance to really get into a data-driven approach to identifying the highest priority locations for safety improvements citywide. So we're going to be, prioritizing different safety improvements, different corridors, intersections. We're going to be doing this process with public engagement, with stakeholder input, and with a focus on equity for underserved communities. So this safety action plan is going to enable us to secure future grants, federal and state, for road safety projects. It's going to be basically the foundation for future safety related roadway grant applications. It's also going to provide the foundation for our Vision Zero plan going forward, and it's going to gear us up to get a more concrete timeline of how we can actually achieve Vision Zero. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, this is obviously, this is great. It's something we've been gearing up for a long time. Now that we've passed complete streets, this is the next big, Vision Zero is one of the next big projects here. And it means a lot, obviously, to a lot of residents. So does anyone have any questions? Seeing none, all in favor? Darlene? Okay, there we go. All right, passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Ben. Number 3, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to execute any and all documents and agreements required by the Connecticut Department of Transportation to accept grant funding under the Community Connectivity Grant Program for the Hospital Hill Village District Safety Enhancement Program. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Freyer. Greg?
Thank you, Chairman. Thank you, council members. This is a very exciting project. Back in 2023, the city was awarded $800,000 through the Connecticut Department of Transportation's Community Connectivity Grant Program, which was the maximum that was allowed to be given out for this grant program. The grant funding will be utilized to address crashes and confusion that occurs at the existing traffic circle that defines the intersection of Stewart Avenue, Stevens Street, and Magnolia Avenue, which I'm sure you all have driven through at some point or have seen at some point. The reconfigured intersection will set to slow vehicle speeds and improve safety for all roadway users, along with incorporating various streetscape enhancements that will benefit the surrounding community. We've been out on the street a lot, talking with the business owners and talking with the community, who are very excited for this project. And we're very excited to move this project ahead. And within the last year, we've advanced it pretty rapidly. We're looking to continue to move this forward in the near future as we look to begin construction sometime in 2025.
Does anyone have any questions for Greg? Greg, I think you hit on an important issue, which is just that obviously this was announced about a year ago. And, now when can people, you said sometime in 2025, but I don't know if you can hone in a little bit on maybe what people in the Hospital Hill area can expect in terms of like when construction actually is going to begin, and like what the timeline is here.
Yeah, I mean, we're looking to wrap up design work, and that's why we're here tonight. Is when we submit, we have to submit all of the bid advertisement package along with the plan set to DOT, which includes various documents that need to be signed by the mayor, along with that submission package. So once we get the notice to proceed, we're going to bid this project out because we want to bid this out, over this kind of quiet period right now to get a contractor on board and get a more competitive pricing, kind of during the winter period. So we're lined up to, hopefully begin construction sometime in the Q2 of 2025. So that's what we're kind of aiming for, is to begin construction during that time span. And
So
like I said,
spring.
we've been out talking with the business owners and talking to residents. We had a community meeting last February where we heard from the community as well. So they're all very excited, and something that has been, they never expected, because the area has been this way for so many years, and they're excited to see it forthcoming.
For what it's worth, I was at the community meeting and it was an excellent meeting. Does anyone have any questions for Greg? Seeing none, all in favor? Okay, passes unanimously. Number 4, authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to sign an agreement with the Western Connecticut Council of Governments, WestCOG, for the Active Transportation Micro Grant Program for the release of grant funds in the amount of $4,788. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Smith. Greg.
Thank you, Chairman. So this was a grant that was submitted back in September of 2024, and it was awarded. We were awarded the amount of $4,788 for the Active Transportation Micro Grant, which is administered by the Connecticut Department of Transportation in conjunction with the Western Connecticut Council of Governments, as long as other COGs around the state of Connecticut. We actually encouraged the Bike Walk Commission to apply for this grant to support their mission. And it will help fund with future events and distributing items to public attendees and students as part of school events, and promote safe biking and walking and rolling through the community. This is a non-infrastructure related grant. So the items that represent this grant are more for educational purposes: brochures, bike helmets, bike lights, bike locks, league certified instructors to teach students how to safely ride bikes. So the Bike Walk Commission will be, kind of at the forefront, passing out educational related materials to, as part of school events, which they've done part of, as well as city events. They took part in, the National Night Out event, that took place earlier this year, the Earth Day event as well, early in April, and along with other community events. So they'll be on site. It's just to help them, promote their
Mission
of safe biking and walking through the city.
Okay. Councilmember Smith.
I'm curious, is there a specific age group that's going to be targeted?
No, I mean, they promote to all ages, really. I mean, they've done in October, they did a week's worth. They were in conjunction with other schools, around the city, where they did different schools every day of that week, to pass out flyers and to hand out swag items and promote safe biking and walking.
Great. I think those lessons are really important for our young people. Bike safety is huge.
Yeah, and the Bike Walk Commission, to their credit as well, they've had a lot of partnerships with the public school system as well, and had those partnerships created so they can get in at the school level to the students, which is really the key area to get involved.
Yeah, great. Thanks, Greg.
Thank you.
Councilmember Freyer.
Excuse me, Greg, is there going to be any emphasis or any categorization for e-bikes?
So as part of this grant, it didn't specify anything related to e-bikes. In the application process, it's, like I said, it's in non-infrastructure and more items related to safe, accessible bike safety, and walk and pedestrian safety as well. So there could be educational items as far as e-bikes and how to ride alongside with an e-bike, something that's newer for a pedestrian or even for a cyclist, when riding alongside an e-bike. So that's something that, the Bike Walk Commission has brought up in the past that they want to start implementing, because it is something that is a growing factor today in the mobility area.
I'm really concerned about the safety of e-bikes, especially with young kids.
Mm-hmm.
They're going faster and faster all the time. It seems like every kid under 14's got an e-bike who can go what appears to be 40 miles an hour on the bike. And I'm getting a lot of people saying that we've got to do something about it. Slow them down. How do we regulate them? Because somebody's going to get hurt pretty badly on some of these things. So I would hope that maybe, I should talk to the Bike Commission and talk to them about possibly instituting some course that relates to, for young people, safety on e-bikes.
Yeah, and that's certainly a topic I can bring to their attention as well. And you know, the league certified instructors through the American Cycling Institute, that's something that you know, I'm sure they have kind of touched on as well. So I can certainly portray that concern that you had tonight. And it is, e-bikes are something they've talked about in the past. So it is you know, it is a growing trend that we need to catch up with. So
Yeah.
it's certainly something we can discuss with them, how we can educate younger riders and how to regulate the speeds a little bit better.
Okay, great. Thanks, Greg.
Councilmember Dunn.
Hi. Do we have any kind of statistical information about how many kids own bikes at what age levels and whether they're using them? I don't see kids riding bikes to school at all. I'd like to know how they're using them, where they're using them, and how, whether the kids actually own them.
So we have done some, we've done 2 walk assessments in conjunction with the Connecticut Department of Transportation at Fox Run School and at Cranberry School. And we have looked at the bike racks to see how many bikes were present. You know, the other thing too is there an available infrastructure as well? And that's during those assessments, we look at, you know, is the necessary infrastructure there and how we can incorporate that to get more kids to bike to school if the infrastructure is there and if they would, if it was there. So I think it's something that we try to, you know, promote and hearing what the students have to say and, you know, whether they would use that infrastructure, which they would. You know, certainly there's a plethora of students that live, you know, within a quarter mile, half mile of schools that would love to be able to walk or ride to school if that necessary infrastructure was there. So that's what we're really honing in on off of these assessments and trying to incorporate the necessary infrastructure. But that is another thing the Bike Walk Commission is also looking to do, is how they can, you know, do bike giveaways and how they can, you know, look at the numbers. But unfortunately, I don't have statistics as far as how many bikes are, you know, available, you know, for younger students if they're available.
No, I think this is great.
I mean, that begs the question too, like, so if you're Cranberry, sorry,
No,
I'm
go
just
ahead,
thinking
go for it.
Cranberry, you might have usage, whereas different elementary schools like Kendall, where I drive by every day, there may not be as much bike ownership, and it would be kind of good to see where the areas and which neighborhoods and schools the kids need more access to bikes, or which ones they already own them, you know, within those areas. That's all. Thanks. Sorry, Josh.
No, not at all. I think this is all, I think it's all important. I just want to remind everyone that the item here is a very, you know, I mean, it's a grant to give them supplies to hand out at events and stuff. I just want to make sure that we're all like on the thing here. So does anyone have any more comments or questions on this item? All in favor? Darlene? Well, it passed. Okay.
Thank you.
Item 5. Authorize Mayor Harry W. Rilling to
Josh,
enter an
I tried to, Josh, I put my hand up for that one. I vote for that one. You didn't see it. I don't know what's wrong with my little pointer thing. It
I don't
keeps
know.
getting lost as
Maybe,
I'm circling it, and then I
that's
hit the wrong
All right.
thing.
Well, for the record, it passed unanimously.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
Please.
Cool. Thank you.
Good. Okay.
Item 5, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into any and all agreements related to the improvements to Richards Avenue and West Cedar Street as part of the Connecticut Department of Transportation Local Capital Improvement Program. I'm not saying that acronym, with grant funding administered through the Western Council of Governments and all other agreements and documents required thereunder. Do I have a motion for this one? Councilmember Seed, Ben.
Yes, so it's my understanding that TMP had presented on this project last month. So this is the same one, Richards Avenue and West Cedar. We're trying to build a roundabout here. And the good news is we've been endorsed by WestCog for this big $4 million grant from LOTSIP. I think it's either the maximum or near the maximum amount that they would actually allot to a single project. So great news there. Together with the $1 million in urban action grant funding that was accepted by this committee last month, we now have a total of $5 million for the design and construction of this roadway improvement. So I'll hit on a couple quick bullet points for the roundabout just to recap. So this is to replace an aging signal at Richards and West Cedar just outside of the community college with a modern roundabout. So the purpose here is, safety related. Roundabouts are proven to be safer than traditional signalized intersections, while also reducing delay. It's also going to enhance bike connectivity up and down Richards Ave. We're planning to construct a multi-use path in this segment by the community college, and it will connect to bike lanes north and south of this area. It's also going to serve traffic calming. So we're going to narrow Richards Ave, make it less wide curb to curb, and add a raised crosswalk mid-block from the west and east sides of that campus there. The roundabout will also beautify the area. It'll serve as a sort of gateway. We can put something to be determined right in the middle of that traffic circle. So I hear residents are fairly excited for the project. So lots of positive feedback so far on it. There's no taking of property that's going to be required for this project besides a corner of the community college's parking lot, and we've already started discussions with them. They're on board. The best news is all $5 million in funding for this project is 100% state participation. So there's no local match for this, $5 million. So the request is to authorize the mayor to enter into this particular grant agreement, which is for 4 million of the 5. And then the 4 million is from LOTSIP, which is a state program.
Okay, does anyone have any questions on this item? Councilmember Freyer.
Ben, what's the timing of this? When are we going to put the shovel in the ground?
So we do have to go through the design process first. We have a concept design right now, and we have, of course, already started conversations with key stakeholders like the community college and the state. So as soon as we have the grant funding for this in place, we'll put together an RFP for a design consultant, and then we'll also have a public engagement phase. So that'll be in the first half of the coming year. If all goes well, we'll have a shovel-ready design towards the latter end of next year, maybe fall 2025, and then probably my expectation would be that we'd be able to actually start construction hopefully in the spring of 26.
Okay. And how long will there be detours? Will the road be closed for any period of time?
There probably will be some sort of detours. Hopefully we'll be able to manage traffic and not disrupt the usual flow along Richards and West Cedar too much. That will be part of the design process, figuring out the maintenance and protection of traffic.
Because as you know, we're replacing the Cedar Avenue Bridge over a 5 Mile River. That's going to start, I believe, in the spring. That's going to be closed. That road will be closed for a while. So I'm just hoping that we're not going to close that for 4 or 5 months and then have to close. What is it? Cedar.
It's right there. It's less than a mile away apart from each other.
Yeah,
that's what I mean is that we wouldn't have, shutting down that the bridge. The bridge is going to be out of there, so you're going to have detours around that for 4 or 5 months, and then have another detour for another 4 or 5 months, and so all of a sudden you got 10 months of detours. But I would think that the circle, maybe it's not not shutting it down completely for a month or something like that.
Yeah. Again, I think we'll try our best to figure out a way to maintain as many directions and approaches to that intersection as possible while reconstructing it in a safe manner. Being realistic, we're not gonna be able to line up our construction phase with the construction of the bridge there. But that being said, I think there is some benefit to the idea that while the bridge is under construction, the existing intersection of Richards and West Cedar will be fully open to utilize the detour, and then
Right.
we kind of shift to it's like a phased approach, and then we go to work on the intersection, and the bridge is all nice and ready to be used as a detour route in that case.
Councilmember Dunn?
Ben, you may be aware of this, so I may be. But I think the most recent zoning meeting, they just approved a new rather large scale development with multiple units. And I think there's 2 of them coming in front of zoning. I'd say it's like 30.
Is it the senior housing
condos.
development or something
Yeah,
else?
senior.
Yeah, senior housing.
Yeah,
That's on Richards, right? Is
it
it?
is on Richards. It's going to be outside of this particular study area, and based on the size of the development, we don't expect that there's going to be too much additional traffic in the area just due to that development on its own. So I think our TMP, of course, we reviewed that development from a traffic and site plan perspective, so we're well aware of it. So I think in the end, this roundabout and the pedestrian and bicycle safety enhancements it'll add, it'll be a net benefit for all those new residents over there at the new development. Hopefully it won't
I guess my question was, is development slated to be built at the same time that the roundabout is being built, or no? Is it
I don't think we have a clear timeline from them on their construction. So
Along
I can
street?
I can definitely we can definitely investigate that and make sure that we're coordinating with them so that there's not a closure at the intersection here immediately followed by some other closure for their development.
So it'll be continue from March through all of 2026, that there'll be something going on there, probably.
It's quite possible, yes. So it's going to be busy
But
in
it's
that
going to be
area,
well managed,
but it's
and
going to be
traffic's
well
going to
managed,
flow
yes.
very well, and it's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
Councilmember Seed?
Yeah, I think with the construction, I think when everything's done, it's just going to be a net win for that area. I mean, with the school, I was a student at NCC. In the mornings and the afternoons when everybody's leaving, it's a lot of traffic there. And it's not really safe right now, or it doesn't really feel that way for people to bike to school and everything. I think the roundabout is going to be a big win for that whole area, the college, the neighbors, and everybody. So definitely we'll have probably a little bit of inconvenience in 2026, but I think at the end of it, everybody's going to be happy.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Thank you, Councilman Seed. There's been, a number of people, residents, or people even from other cities that have come to us and voiced their complaints about getting, say, from the buses that go along Route 1, walking up to the community college. Even though it's like half a mile or so, it's a bit of a dangerous route. So we're very hopeful that this will make that walk much safer.
Lot happening in West Norwalk.
For sure.
Anyone else, all in favor? All right, that was everybody. Item passes unanimously.
Thank you all.
Thanks, Ben. Okay, item 6. Under TMP, authorize the mayor, Harry W. Rilling, to enter into a license agreement for vehicular parking with the Connecticut Department of Transportation for property located along Monroe Street, adjacent to the New Haven Main Rail Line. Do I have a motion? Councilmember Freyer. All right, Brian.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thanks for having me again. So there's a small 10 spot parking lot on the corner of the Norwalk PD headquarters that a special unit parks in consistently. The lot is owned by CTDOT, and there's no agreement that has been put in place. So, the Chief Walsh expressed concern about the lack of an agreement allowing those vehicles to park there. So, as CDOT could request their removal at any time, which is a concern. So, these spaces are crucial for storing vehicles for that specialized unit. We negotiate a zero-cost license agreement with CTDOT, which includes a 90-day termination clause should they need the parcel in the future. This agreement provides PD with added security, allowing them to park in these spaces without the risk of being displaced without notice.
Chair.
Yep.
Can I just ask
Councilmember
a
Young.
question? So is there a reason why they didn't specify police vehicles, or is it, do I not see it?
Are you,
So
go ahead. They are police vehicles that are parking there just for.
I'm just wondering why it
reasons
wasn't
that they have.
specifically said in the
In the
actual
item?
Yeah. Because that
Because
confused
it's-
me a little
because-
bit. I wasn't sure, but okay.
I mean, the lot itself, Darlene, you've gone by it 14
I know
million
exactly
times.
where it
Yeah.
is. I was just asking because when I just looked at it, when you say vehicular parking, then that can then mean any other city.
Well,
Yeah, right.
I would imagine in just looking at the materials that the reason is it's because it's the city entering an agreement, not the Newark Police Department entering into an agreement. It just happens to be that the Newark Police Department is the city department that is going to be using this lot.
Correct.
Right now, but
But-
if it's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
But Brian, tell me if I'm wrong, but my understanding is that this is an agreement so that we are protected and have notice if and when CONDOT ever comes and says, hi, we need to do renovations on the MTA line right there. We need your 10 vehicles out. And
Correct.
whether it's.
And so if
whether-
we have a Rexon Park vehicle there, it's still okay. Because it's just vehicular. So is that what you're saying? We're just,
That was my
I mean,
understanding, Brian.
I know the police use it. I know I see it. I just questioned, it's not specific to the police department. And was that a reason, or it doesn't matter? We just want a lease agreement with that property. And if
It's a
that's the case, that's all.
It's a good question. I'm actually not sure on the specifics of those vehicles that can or can't park there. It was an issue that got brought up by the PD that they were using it, and the agreement just got put in place so they could park those vehicles without having to show up one day and they can't use the space.
All right. Thank you.
Okay, any other questions, comments on this item? If not, all in favor? That's everyone. That passes unanimously. Okay, last item. Under business development and tourism, item number 1. Authorize the mayor, Harry W. Riley, to execute a contract with Cultural Planning Group in an amount not to exceed $100,000 to complete the arts and cultural plan. Account number noted. Do I have a motion? You know what? Her hand's still up. Councilmember Young. Sabrina, take it away.
Yes, thank you, Josh. I'm sick, so bear with me. I might sound a little funny, so if you can't hear me or don't understand something that I said, please let me know. So we went out to bid about a month and a half ago at this point to request for a planning firm or cultural group or any individual to create a arts and cultural plan for our arts and cultural district. We are required to have such a plan for the state of Connecticut, but also having a guiding document that can be amended into the POCD as an additional action item for us to work through. From actually having a path of what we should do and what we should be focusing on will be really beneficial, especially now that we can accept funds to the arts and cultural district separately. We can create programs, projects, new artwork, new art programming, and fund those things separately, not just through a traditional budget process. Not that some of the items might not suggest that at the end of this document, but the main goal is really to outline what's needed in the city, what we have, what we don't have, and how to not only install new art, which I know that's going to probably be a recommendation. We also asked them to focus on things like special events, cultural events. We also asked them to focus on things like what we could create as programming to assist other nonprofits and arts organizations in the city that might not have consistent funding as well. We looked at a lot of this specific consultant's previous plans that they've created. Obviously, their name being Cultural Planning Group, this is what they focus on the most, which was really great. We ended up interviewing 3 different firms. They were all around the same price point, but they seemed the most qualified. But in addition to that, they have a Spanish-speaking individual on staff that will be on the project team, which we thought was really important given our demographics here in Norwalk. So we're really excited to get started with them. We expect the process to take about a year. And then after that process is completed, we would go through the approvals where obviously it would come to Common Council, but it would also go to the Planning and Zoning Commission to amend the POCD to have this as an acting document as kind of an arm of the POCD. So yeah, the price that you have in front of you in the actual RFP response is higher than what the price we're actually requesting for. We had went back to the consultant to let them know that we have ARPA funds and we only have the $100,000. So what can we cut back from the scope in order to make the numbers work? We're only cutting design work for the actual plan document out of there. And there were 2 meetings that they thought they would need to attend in person that they're actually going to be able to attend virtually. So it cut out some of their travel, but also cut out some of that design work for the actual document since we'll be doing that in-house. So nothing really substantial from the actual scope of what they will be doing, like public participation and public outreach and all those integral parts of the plan will be removed based on that price. It's literally just designing a document and some of their travel. I'm happy to answer any questions that anybody has.
Any questions?
Yeah, I have one
Right.
question. You mentioned that they were able to cut out, they can go to a couple of meetings virtually. So how much time are they going to spend in the city talking to people and doing the work?
So they will probably be here at least 3 times to meet physically with the community. And then they'll also meet virtually, but also at least twice with the steering committee itself that's going to be guiding the plan document. So they'll be here for 3 meetings with the public. They'll be here for 2 meetings with the steering committee. And then if we need to have them come in person for anything else, one of their team individuals, one of the actual owners of the company, actually lives in driving distance of Norwalk, so it's not a huge lift for one of them to attend. They had assumed that they would have to come to council and committee meetings in person, which was adding a lot to their price. So we, as we have the hybrid option, we're able to do that. And for the most part, since a staff will be heavily involved in the process, we might not necessarily need them to present the final document to us since we'll be able to present it as staff to you guys.
Okay, so you're comfortable with them not spending as much time physically in the city?
Yeah, normally, even when we have other consultants that are not from here, they come here specifically to do an initial tour, essentially, of the district to see, what we have going on, where the gaps are, and then we like to have them here to meet with certain groups of people. Obviously, the public will probably have a separate meeting for arts and cultural organizations and businesses as well, and then also separately with the steering committee, which will be hopefully guiding the document in a forum that makes the most sense in response to what the public requests.
Are they going to be looking at venues for different arts and, if it's theater, if it's artwork being displayed, so on and so forth?
So they will suggest things that we might have missing, but they won't get into the minutia of, we have 57 pieces of artwork, 17 of them should go into this location. They might just say, okay, you have a inventory of art we should prioritize planning where those pieces go. And then if there's kind of a larger institutional need, like if we don't have a large theater that can accommodate X, Y, or Z, and we have that need for that comes out in the public process, they would suggest that, we find a private company to come in and incentivize them to do so, or something along those lines.
Incentivize who to do something?
Like we could create a program to incentivize a private institution or a not-for-profit institution to create something that we might not have locally, like a new theater or something like that, if that comes out of the responses.
Okay.
I just want to emphasize, this is a really great thing, especially since getting that designation is going to help us massively. Insofar as getting grants, funding, a lot. This is something that between the Arts Commission, I mean, this is a lot of people worked very hard on making this possible, and this is the next big step. So I just wanted to take stock of the fact that this is a very good thing, and we've been working on this for a while.
Yeah, and I think, to your point, Josh, having this document in place will make it easier for us to apply for grants for specific things that come.
Exactly. And that's, I think that's a really important point to get across. This isn't just like a service document. This is going to be a way for us to fund a lot of these projects, not out of strict, not everything is going to be a capital expense out of our budget.
Exactly.
Also, before we've, actually, anyone else have any questions about this item? All in favor? All right, that passes. Assuming, let's say it passes unanimous. There we go. Passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Sabrina, there's a holiday extravaganza happening Saturday night.
There is indeed.
50 Washington Street. And
you are all welcome.
Yeah.
We hope so.
And the Christmas tree lighting is the holiday Christmas tree lighting is tomorrow night outside City Hall. So the holidays are beginning. All right, that's it on our agenda. 42 minutes. Nice job. We covered a lot of ground. I need a motion. All right, Councilmember
Motion to
Breyer.
adjourn.
There we go. All in favor? All right. Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.
Thank
Thanks,
you to all
Josh.
the staff and
Bye.
everyone.
Good night.